Welcome to Clips, a quick review of facts or factoids taken from our more in-depth videos. Today I'd like to share with everyone a little lesson that I've been forced to learn time and time again when dealing with old firearms. Every single cut is important and serves a purpose when you are dealing with an old firearm. There have been so many times that I have just failed to consider in detail why a certain extra shape was added to a part, or why a certain recess was available but unoccupied in a gun. Once more, I thought I knew just about everything there was to know about an exceedingly simple and common firearm, this Bodeo. But I was wrong. We've covered this gun not once but 2 times, and it's pretty much my favorite revolver. And despite it all, I learned something new about it just the other day. So, let me show you. If you haven't seen our episode on the Bodeo, you've really missed out because this gun really embodies what is generally considered to be a very new idea in terms of engineering, which is engineering for the human element, for the human heart. The Bodeo is a gun that loves you. The Bodeo loves you so much that it knows you're an idiot, and therefore it won't let you use the trigger until you go ahead and flick the hammer just a little bit. Then it falls free with gravity. In this case, I have it sideways, so it's not going to do that. Now you may use the gun. No shooting yourself in the leg on the draw with the Bodeo. Now, it loves you enough to be easy to disassemble as well, so we'll just turn this captive thumb screw that we cannot use, no small parts here, and flip this cover plate over. And this is where I made a very poor mistake when I did my episode on the Bodeo, because I lamented that this should be hinged to the gun to make it even cooler, because then when you lift out your wood, you'd only have 2 parts instead of 3. That was the real downside, right? We have 3 chunky things to lose instead of any tiny fiddly bits. But I was wrong, because, again, I have to learn that every cut counts, and I'll show you why in a moment. But for just this moment, we need to know one thing about the Bodeo, other than that it's the most sublimely simple and yet double safety system ever. Again, watch the episode. But it uses one single mainspring. That's it. There's no secondary springs anywhere in here other than a teeny tiny flat spring powering the nose. And that could practically be a piece of tin. So, one good spring runs most of the system. Now, when we want to take this gun apart, it's fairly simple to do by just getting in here with a spring vise and compressing the spring and then pulling it all apart. Unfortunately, I did not realize that the spring vise was entirely unnecessary. And let me show you why. The front of this plate toes in and drops down. Now, if I were a smart man, I would have noticed that the toe in is handled way up here. As a matter of fact, let's zoom in. This little ridge is the toe for our side plate. This hook that's sticking off effectively does nothing. Now, I talked to our animator Bruno, and he said that he had the same concern when he was animating. He was like, I wonder what that really does. And he thought that because of this toe, this provided some resistance to torsion, to the whole thing spinning across the screw and wearing down this nub. But then, if that's what it does, why the heck does it have to have this tine sticking out, like a big old fork? Why can't it just be a spud? Well, there's a good reason. If we manually cock back our Bodeo, boom, it compresses the mainspring. At which point, I can take this key, shove it over the spring, and then, this is a bit of a two-handed operation, but I'm trying not to interrupt the camera. I can just go ahead and pull the trigger. And when I pull the trigger, that spring is now held compressed in a spring vise, which means I can just, lift that guy right out and hold him there while I do whatever work needs to be done inside of this gun. Pull out the hand, pull out this extra safety, whatever I need to do. It can all come apart and get cleaned up. And when it's ready to go back together, I just take this guy and realign him where he needs to be. So inside of the hand, turn back, push her there, simple as can be. Then I can recock the mechanism. She falls free. I can just shove that guy down in there, and then boom, the Bodeo is back in business. It is that simple to service with no tools. You need no additional tools than what's on the gun in order to get the mainspring out, go through every single piece for cleaning, and then reassemble. The Bodeo is a revolver that unequivocally loves you and does not get enough respect for how amazingly cool it is. This job regularly has me handling some of the weirdest, coolest, most famous weapons in history. But at the end of the day, the greatest happiness can still be found in the little things that you sometimes never know you're missing. Hug your mother and have a good one, folks.